Our regional population is set to increase 66%, but the new water reservoir will provide only 23% increase in water supply. Given this supply-demand imbalance, as well as the traffic increase, how can Frisco adequately meet the infrastructure needs of the expected population growth?
So part of what we're going to have to do with water is we can't just count on bringing in more water. That's not going to work. We actually have to do more conservation, and we've been doing that as a city. You've seen that. We actually have become very good at doing water conservation here so that the supply will stay level at that point. So if we continue to practice those types of things, it's conservative, it's smart principles, it's good conservation use of what we spend. That's a great principle to do. If we continue to do that with water, that will help. We also need to push for that reservoir to be finished, on the other hand. The EPA has stalled that, and we need to continue to push for that. I'm actually working part of that initiative through the region to help that go further. If we look at the transportation issues, we also have to look at the fact that we can't just build more roads and hope that that's going to fix the problem. We're going to have to be more creative about that. And if we look at the transportation problem, most of that is traffic going out of town. If we have more business development here and continue to do that, then it stays here and we're not doing most of that movement back and forth on the tollway out of town. And I think that will help us tremendously. If we bring in businesses, that also is going to help shoulder that responsibility, like I mentioned earlier, and that will give us the ability to continue having our amenities high without having the tax rate for us go up.
Well, a couple of years ago, if you can recall, the big problem that we had was the zebra mussels that cut us off our water supply up in Lake Texoma. We were able to adequately fix that by getting a bigger and larger transport to come down to Lake Lavon. So we were able to get that online so that we could take care of our water needs. Second of all, the number one area where we can make the most impact is conserving our water. There are 13 cities that work with us in the North Texas Municipal Water District. And we have it supplies about 1.7 million gallons of water to the individuals in our area. And we are going to be growing. But we just have to continue educating our voters and educating the population on conservation ways. And we're doing that right now on the city. I mean, if you look at the city website, you can see that it tells you how many times you should water per week, if it's going to rain or not. So I think if individuals continue to use that, I think that we will definitely save some more water.
I will say that one of the benefits of having a council that has actually done really well and looked and saw the growth coming is there's a good plan in place. The things we have to do is make sure we implement that plan and do it effectively, but be able to adjust when things that we don't see coming, as the water shortfall, or the fact that we're growing probably much faster than we even thought. I mean, you look at the old numbers, it's just amazing. It's a good problem to have. But with people coming in, we need to make sure if we can go ahead and get these road plan done faster, great. If we can do it, if we can make sure we either stick to what's the plan, that's even better. But we have to do it. We have to be able to adjust fire on that. And I think that currently there's a good plan set. I don't know in the future if that's going to be able to stay, but I know that the council has done a very good job, and I want to make sure we keep that tradition going.
I think that's a very good question, and one that I've been very concerned about. As we see the increase in multifamily housing and we see the numbers going up drastically, I'm not sure that we will be ready to meet those challenges. Right now, our population is at 154,000, and we're talking about, with the new plan, more than doubling that to 380,000. That's a tremendous increase. We have the first reservoir coming online that we've seen in the past, I think, 40 to 50 years. And that reservoir is just barely going to meet our needs. I think that's a tremendous concern that we have. And traffic as well is going to be a tremendous concern. One of the things in my platform has been that we take a look, which I think you may have just seen, that actually now Planning and Zoning is doing that. They're planning to do that, I think at the next meeting next week, to actually look at multifamily housing. We've seen how in the DFW area there are a number of multifamily housing that are going unfilled. And so we need to be very careful about overbuilding that and bringing in so many people that our resources, we've outstripped our resources.
That's a great question, and it's a difficult one. So the reservoir is one thing that can help, but as you said, that's not going to take care of all of the burden. I think right now the density of Frisco is set to be at 350,000, if I'm not mistaken, by the time we're full and fully grown. So that begs to ask the question of, is that the right number? Do we need to look at reducing density maybe? The other thing is, making sure that people are using water wisely, which Frisco does a good job of. I had somebody ask me the other day, why are we only worried about the sprinkler system in the yard? Why don't we put a limit on the amount of water that each family could use? Limit meaning, if you use X amount, it's this price. If you use more than that, it's more expensive. And I'm not sure I agree with that either, but I think there are unique ways that we can think about and find a way to use water more wisely. The other thing that I think is real important is, as we're building new homes, I'd like to see if there's any new technologies that can be used in the homes that would help with water consumption as well.